Forget everything you think you know about dinosaur sounds. That iconic T-Rex roar from Jurassic Park? Completely made up. But what if I told you that some dinosaurs could actually sing? And I'm not talking about cute little chirps. I'm talking about full orchestral performances that could be heard from 5 miles away. Meet Parasaurolophus, the dinosaur that came with its own built-in musical instrument. This wasn't just any ordinary plant eater. It was walking around the Cretaceous period with what was basically a 6-foot-long trombone growing out of its head. That massive curved crest wasn't just for show. Scientists have discovered that it was completely hollow inside, with complex air chambers and tubes that worked exactly like a wind instrument. When Parasaurolophus breathed through it, it could produce deep, resonant tones that traveled for miles across prehistoric landscapes. But here's where it gets absolutely incredible. Different species of Parasaurolophus had different-sized crests, which means they could produce different musical notes. It was like having an entire dinosaur orchestra, with some playing bass notes and others hitting higher pitches. Researchers have actually recreated these sounds using CT scans and computer modeling. The result? It sounds like a cross between a foghorn, a church organ, and an elephant's trumpet call. Imagine walking through a Cretaceous forest and suddenly hearing this haunting musical call echoing through the trees from an animal the size of a school bus. And they didn't just make random noise. These dinosaurs were having actual conversations. Scientists believe they used different tones and sequences to communicate danger, find mates, and coordinate with their herds. It was like prehistoric whale song, but coming from 30-foot-long land animals. Picture this. At sunrise in the Cretaceous period, entire herds of Parasaurolophus would start their morning concerts. Dozens of these musical giants would call to each other across valleys, creating symphonies that could be heard from one end of the continent to the other. But Parasaurolophus wasn't the only dinosaur making music. Lambeosaurus had a different kind of crest that produced higher-pitched sounds, almost like a prehistoric clarinet. And corythosaurus? That was the percussion section. It could make rapid drumming sounds by inflating air sacs in its throat. The really mind-blowing part is that these dinosaurs probably had regional accents. Just like whales and birds today, different populations would develop slightly different calls and songs. A Parasaurolophus from Montana might sound completely different from one living in Mexico. Some scientists think these dinosaur orchestras were so loud that they could actually affect the weather. When hundreds of these giants started calling at once, the sound waves might have been powerful enough to create atmospheric disturbances. They were literally making it rain with their voices. And here's something that will change how you watch Jurassic Park forever. If these movies were scientifically accurate, you wouldn't hear any of those fake roars. Instead, you'd hear hauntingly beautiful music echoing through the prehistoric landscape. It would sound more like a nature documentary about whales than a monster movie. The fossil record shows that these musical dinosaurs lived in massive herds, sometimes thousands of individuals moving together. Imagine the concerts they must have put on. It would be like having a marching band the size of a small city, but instead of instruments, they're using their own heads. Modern birds inherited this musical ability from their dinosaur ancestors. Every time you hear a bird singing outside your window, you're listening to an echo of those ancient Cretaceous symphonies that filled the air 70 million years ago. The next time someone tries to tell you that the past was boring, remind them that dinosaurs were literally having rock concerts 70 million years before humans invented music. We didn't invent communication through sound. We just rediscovered what dinosaurs had perfected eons ago. But if you think singing dinosaurs are weird, wait until you hear about the prehistoric plants that were actively trying to murder everything around them. The next video is going to make you look at your garden very differently. Killer trees that could move and flowers that were literally toxic death traps? Plants were metal before metal existed.